All right, welcome back everyone. This is video 2 of the series where we try to read the source code of Laravel. We already have started. We have a video 1, it's in the playlist. So this is the second video we're doing, and we are currently reading the maintenance file that Laravel uses to put the application down, right? And we are halfway there. We are trying to finish today. But before we jump into back to reading and thinking about the code, I wanted to just give a short update on what I did between the two videos. Last time in the video 1, we saw two things that I think it would be good for to contribute back to the community. So I created two topics here into the discussion. I don't think those are meaningful to be GitHub issues. So I created two topics just related with the things we discussed last time in the last video. The first one related to a variable naming. It's just a simple thing. It's just a more clear name that could be used into the maintenance file. And the second one, it's the documentation related with the accept setting. If you don't know what that means, go back to video 1, it's described there. And it's basically, I didn't find any documentation related to that specific setting. So I just created this entry to give a chance to the community to just point me to the right direction, or if there's none, maybe we can even create one, right? So that's that. And after that, we can go back to the code actually. So the objective for today, it's to finish the maintenance file. We can finish reading and understanding what's happening there. And then we will jump into the Laravel composer, well, the composer file that is created for the Laravel project. We will take a briefly look into how it works. Generally, I don't want to spend too much time on that because it's more, it's a package, a different package, right? But we will take a look at things like how some static files are included by default, etc. And then we move into the application configuration. So we will start looking at how Laravel gets the main application object configured and instantiated, etc. So that's the objective, and let's do it, right? So I'll close this. Oops. And let's go to public index just to get a sense of where we were. We were reading this, right? So the system is just requiring the maintenance file. Let's go back to that. Storage, framework, maintenance. So we read until the end of the accept logic here. And so let's start from here. So we have this line that checks if we have a secret, right? And this data, again, it's coming from the storage framework. It's down, right? So if there's a secret here, and that secret you can define well, you can define here directly, but you can define as well with the php artisan down command. You can pass a secret there, and that's pretty well documented. So if you do that, then we will enter here into this conditional, probably if we also check if there's a secret, and also, of course, if the secret, the correct secret, it's used into the URI, right? And now that I'm looking here, for example, this here, this is the URI, right? The PHP gets the URI that's being used to access this resource. In this case, it's a page. But what I was discussing about the variable name is that this is URI and after you call parse URL and you get the path, you don't get the URI anymore. You get the path, because the URI, it's everything, and the path is just after the base path until the query parameters, right? So we can test here this. It's just quick. And now, no, we can do the DA yet, and that's discussed in the previous video as well. So if we do this, and you can see the difference, oops, and we run it, I think I'm down already, right? Right, yeah. So let's just pass something here like test, and then a query value, right? So you can see everything, right? But if you get just the path like that, parse URL, oops, then it's here, it's, well, path, right? So closing, yeah. Then you can see it's just test, even though, of course, I'm still passing the query values. So that's the difference, and it's a small thing, of course, but it's just to make sure we understand everything here. So yeah, this time we actually want the URI, the entire URI, because we want to check whether the secret it's passed as a, well, actually it would be presented in the path as well, right? Of course, because it's not, yeah, we're not checking the system, it's expecting not as a query parameter, but inside the path itself, right? So yeah, it doesn't make any difference. And actually this could happen, right? Path equals this, then we don't work with URI. Well, let's just be smart here. URI by path. Yes. Right, and then we don't need this anymore, right? It's just path. And of course, right now there's nothing, so maintenance. But if we go and do, oh yeah, we can do manually, but let's do the Laravel way. Let's go to the documentation and Laravel doc. If we go to getting started, configuration and maintenance, PHP is on down, we have the secret here, right? Yeah, so let's use this secret as an example. Yeah, actually, let's just copy everything here. We can just close this. Let's open a bash window here so we can keep them alone. So we will get up again, and then, oh, we just paste this, right? Then it's now, and it's saying you can bypass by just using this. Of course, it's saying localhost because I think I didn't configured my, yeah, so that's wrong. Actually, it should be www read write Laravel. And again, explain this in video 1, but this is just my local host. I just added this host in my host files just to make sure it looks a little bit more with the Rio application, a Rio application. So if we do that and we go back and up and then down, okay, now I'm having the correct link. And if I click this, I should bypass, right? So if I don't use that, if I just do this, okay, service unavailable, and we have this instead of our maintenance because I didn't configure a template, a pre-rendered template. We discussed that feature in the video one as well. But basically we can just do that here, storage framework down, and we can just now say maintenance, right? And now we get that. But if we use that link now, open link, see, it's Laravel's the full page. So we are bypassing the down mode, maintenance mode, by just using the secret. And we can take a look now what's happening there. And of course, the changes we did in the code here were just cosmetic. I think it's not, it didn't change any functionality, right? I'm just reusing, oh, actually I'm not, of course, I changed the file that gets deleted every time you change it to up. So the one that I should be changing, it's the maintenance tab. So let's just find that. Then maintenance, I think it's this stub, right? And it's inside vendor, Laravel framework source, I guess. No, okay, maintenance. Let's just try this instead. Maintenance mode, cache, console, here. I guess the maintenance mode file doesn't have maintenance mode as I searched inside, so that's why. So this one, if I change, then we will have that change everywhere. So I don't need that line, I need just this line, right? And let's just add a space here, delete this, and replace, I think we have that, right? No, replace URI by path. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, and now I can go here again, and I can just use path, I think, right? And now if I go here, PHP artisan up, now we get rid of the previous maintenance file that was in the, copy it over to the storage. And now if I do down with the secret, reload, of course this is the one we changed, and I want now the storage framework maintenance file, and here it is. So it's path, and I'm using path all the way down, yes, except, and here, right? So let's check again. So it's in maintenance mode, so it's down, the application is down. We shouldn't see this page, we should see just the default page. Oh, let's first just make sure this is reloaded, yes, and this is maintenance. So we know we have our script. Oh, okay, that's happening. I reloaded and we didn't enter the maintenance page, but it's because the secret, when that's used, a cookie is created to allow the user bypassing the maintenance to use the whole system, right? So it's not just the index, it's the whole system after you use the secret. And because the secret it's the same, I guess our cookie is still valid. So to change that, we could either delete the cookie or use a different secret. So I'm just going to delete the cookie here, storage, and that's it. Delete all. And now if I do that, okay, maintenance, great. And this is working as we expected. Now let's use the secret, and the secret it's here, right? Open link. Why that's not working? Maybe it's our code. So the secret, it's correct. Yeah. 15, right? Oh, that's a good check here. Let's see. So we're here, and path has the data secret. Data secret, it's here. It's the one that we are using, right? Yeah. 16, 15 at the end. Yeah. And so probably it's failing here, right? Our path might be different than this, and probably it's because of this slash. I don't know. Let's see. Die for dump path. So yeah, it's just that. And here you have this. So why yeah, I'm not sure if we could just do that. I'm trying to think about an edge case that where this would not be wanted. Of course it works here, but I'm trying to think why they would want to make sure the secret's checked with the slash, like for, yeah, I can't think of any case. Anyway, this is not something we will suggest, I think. So we don't have to worry about the edge cases. It's just a test here. But the path is now being checked against the data secret. And because the path it's always empty, we are trying, the secret works, and this is in the original file as well. The secret should always only work when you are accessing the main page, right? I think this is still even in the documentation here. Maintenance mode secret when accessing to allow maintenance mode to bypass using secret token, you may use the secret option to specify maintenance mode bypass token. After placing, you may navigate to the application URL matching this token, and Laravel will issue a maintenance mode bypass cookie to your browser. Right, so it's always the main page. So the secret, it's actually like part of the path. It's not really a query string, a query parameter. It's really the path, right? And it should always be the only part of the path. Path should be entirely this. So they are checking with the slash probably to make sure that's happening, because we could get something before, but then it would not match the secret anyway. Yeah, okay. Oh. But that's it. If the secret's there, then we are actually free to navigate the entire application, right? Like this. Even if I try to access something different, and of course this will give me an error because Laravel won't find this route. But if the application is under maintenance mode, this should not happen. It should be a 503 for anything, right? Or our pre-rendered template. So if I go and delete again our sessions, and I try now this maintenance, right? So with that, we can see this working. And now the code to actually check, because this is just code. This is just checking if there's a secret, and the secret it's the same, right? From the path. Well, actually, now that I'm looking at this, so a framework to handle the maintenance mode bypass route. Oh, right. Okay, I understand. So this maintenance file here, it doesn't create the cookie. I thought it would, but of course not, because it's returning here. So if it finds that the secret is inside the path, actually is the path, then it just returns to the index, and then the framework handles somewhere, maybe checking using a middleware, but we will get there. But the framework will handle this case to check the secret and create the cookie, etc. But what this does here is after that. So when and maybe of course the framework, after creating the cookie, of course it does that by redirecting the client, right? So when the redirection reaches the server again, it will reach without the secret. So this won't be true anymore, right? Then it won't return. And then what happens? Then we have to check, okay, is there any cookie valid? Because if there's any valid cookie, then we return, right, to allow the framework again, maybe check this somewhere else as well. And because here it's just to bypass our pre-rendered template that's being displayed after that. I imagine the framework it's also doing the same thing somewhere else, which it's thing we can just try, right? We can search by probably payload Mac. Let's search in a new thing here. So, for example, if we do, oops, not that, but this. Under vendor Laravel framework source. Somewhere else might be doing this. Yeah, so list failed command. Maybe that's not that, but there's other places. List failed. Maybe it's a middleware or something like that. Session databases stub. Fail dynamic console. Yeah. I don't think it's anything here. Yeah. Let's try just Mac. Well, actually, this should be like that, right? Ah, okay. Here we have it. I think. Oh. Yeah. It's the same code. And I guess that's the reason they are duplicating this code. It's because the things we discussed before in the session, in the first video, they don't want to depend too much on the framework. So the less they depend on it, the better isolated the down state will be, and you will have freedom to upgrade anything, change anything in your installation. So if they start depending a lot on helper functions, like this could be extracted into a helper function, or even a class, etc. But then they would have to import to require that class inside the maintenance file as well. Then it gets complicated. So I think that's the reason, and I think it's a good reason to just duplicate all those details here. Like there's a lot of duplication, like the attributes are duplicated, the hashing process. But again, I think it's for simplification, right? In this case, I think it would make more, and it's something that I imagine doesn't get changed too much. So yeah, it's okay. But it's nice to understand. It's not a critique. It's really trying to understand the logic. I'm pretty sure they thought about all those things, and it's just fun to discover the reasons for yourself. Even, of course, the reasons were already debated between the developers. All right, so that's what's happening. This is just checking to allow bypassing the pre-rendered template that we might want to set up in the down settings here. And if there's this check, it's true, meaning the cookie set, all the secret, it's of course checked against a hash string, because we don't want to set a cookie with the unprotected unhashed data there. If everything checks, there's also the expired, so the cookie also expires, and how much time they give us. Does that make expire? No, there's no expire here. Right, so it might be a default setting. We can just enter, use this link again. So we are now cookied or cooked. And that was horrible. Okay, so we have here maintenance, this one, right? And expires, so it gives us probably 1 day, 24 hours. Oh, I can Firefox, can you help me here? 8:24. No, it's less than 24 hours. Yeah, actually it's 12, I think, right? 7, 9. Yeah, it's more than 12, a little bit more. But anyway, last accessed. My timing, it's wrong. That's why I was trying to do the math in my head. But I think my server, sorry about the noise. I think my server time, it's 3 hours ahead my actual hour. So that's why I got confused here. But it's probably 12 hours. Anyway, so we have that. Let's move forward. Otherwise, we spend all the time. Let's just check how much time we do have here. We are under, I don't know where this is telling me, but it's okay. Let's just move forward. So this is checking, in this case, for example, this case here, it checked and my cookie is correct. So it bypasses the pre-rendered by returning to the index, and then the Laravel middleware that we found takes place and checks that to allow access to the rest of the system application. So that's the secret. So let's take a look now at the redirect to the proper path if necessary. So there's another setting here, redirect. We are null right now, but if the setting is there, and the requested URI doesn't match the redirect. Oh, okay. So the redirect can be just probably something like this, right? Because we are just checking the path plus the query, so the URI. And if it's different, then it will send a redirect request, right? So let's take a look at that. We do something. Something is not. Oh, of course, because that code of redirection won't. Let me just fix this. Okay, this code won't reach here. The execution won't reach here because this is still valid. So I'm just going to delete my cookies here. Okay, this page isn't redirecting properly. Yeah, because it's trying, right? So something went to redirect, but because it's not finding that, there's no redirect, right? So I think we can just try to do to a page that exists actually. So like this, right? And we try something and then redirects to that. Oh, we are I don't want to plug in because that makes my microphone do some noises, but I think we can. We still have some minutes here. Let me just lower down this, and I think we will be fine. So let's try to remove this, right? And if we do this, something redirects to that. Okay, we have a problem here. Let's check a look. Let's take a look at the status. No error. Apache error log. Okay, so Laravel. I don't think I did save this, right? Right, so cookies, okay, it's not setting that anymore. Exit, and it's redirecting to, so let's just remove this. Set it to, oh, I see. Okay, this should be null because empty it's different than null, and if it's empty, then it will try to use the pre-rendered template. So if we do this, then we should get, okay, that. And then if we do anything here, yeah, redirects to the main page, but because we are under maintenance, and it's here. And I think this is just to make sure the main page gets all the traffic, even if this page will always, well, this view will always be presented, right? Either this one or the pre-rendered template here, maintenance. So that, yeah, it's always going to redirect, right? So, okay, that it's understood. Oh, and of course, this doesn't try to redirect if the URI it's the same. So if I try to do this right away, I don't have a redirection request, right? So if I do this die here, for example, yeah, it's not there. But if I have something, then I reached that die. Okay, And then the rest, it's just outputting the rendered template. So first we configure a response to have the code that's defined in the status, or the default one that's 503. Then if there's a retry, that's also documented here, right? We can define a retry setting, refresh and retry, right? Refresh after 15 seconds, the page refreshes itself, and retry, it will also refresh, right? Retry after, it's just using the full headers to retry after and to refresh. So that's just that. And then it's echoing the template. So here, if we want to use refresh and retry, we have to have a pre-rendered template, right? There's no way to... that's a good question. Let me plug my computer, because this might take a little bit more time, and I hope the noise is not very loud, but beer. Okay. So let's test this, because what I'm thinking here is I put my application down. If I want to refresh, etc., blah, 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 blah. You may provide a refresh option when invoking down command. But would this work even with, I guess so, right? Right, I guess it's duplicated again in a middleware as well, because this code here will only execute if we have a template, because it's right here at the top. See, if it's not set, then it will allow the framework to handle. So if we only have this code setting the header to retry and refresh, then it would not work, right? But let's, I think it's somewhere else as well, like the other one. So let's do up. We want down, and we want to retry after 5 seconds, right? That's the correct thing, right? Refresh, retry. Okay. Now I'm going to access, and I'm going to wait until it no, let's just be more scientific here. Let's just do refresh this network. Okay. Do we get any header in here? Headers, cache control, connection, content type, retry after 5. We do have. So it's probably handling somewhere else other than that maintenance file. But why it's not retrying? It should. Maybe I'm just expecting something different. So if I do refresh down, it's already down, of course. Up, refresh, right? My down framework down do have refresh 5 seconds. So if I try this now, we have a refresh 5. Yeah, we do have refresh. So okay, it's working because it's handled by a middleware elsewhere. This is just when we have a template, and of course we can test with the template, but maintenance here, maintenance 5 as well. Yeah, and pretty soon, yeah. Okay, understood. And and then we echo the template, and then we exit, and exit doesn't make sure this, the rest of this code doesn't get executed, right? And then we have it. The maintenance file, it's all read and understood. I think there's nothing like conceptual or any patterns that we can get a sense of applied, that they are applied here, because it's pretty simple and should be. The thing we discussed about duplication, it's really for simplicity, right? They want to really isolate the application when it's in down mode, so you can make sure you can do anything with that. So that's why it kind of duplicates little things, but yeah, that's it. And we can quickly go over the vendor, because the vendor here, the thing I wanted to show, it's of course you guys probably already took a look, but I never did. And when I took, I got a little bit lost, but it's not very complicated. The autoload, this file here, it's just it's generated by Composer, of course, but it's just really loading the initial file that then loads the loader. So the initial file here, it's here, Composer autoload real, and the get loader method gets called here, right? And this get loader will do a platform checker, will of course check if there's nothing loaded already. If there's, then it will just return the loader to whatever person called, or user code called it. In this case, Laravel is doing nothing with the loader because it just wants to really register the loader. And the interesting thing I didn't know is this function. It's a PHP function that allows you to register a method that will try to load, to require things for you whenever they are used. So if I register this method, for example, the load class method, whenever I try to use, for example, like right here, Composer, it's trying to use this Composer autoload class loader class without requiring its file, its PHP file. So PHP doesn't know where this class loader is defined. So it will call this load class loader, and this here, it's just this method. See, load class loader, and it checks, is the class that PHP is trying to use Composer autoload class loader? If yes, then we require this file, and this file, it's the file that implements that class. So that's the thing that does all the magic. Of course, Composer does a lot of stuff for us, but the inner functionality, it's just creating loaders that will handle require commands to allow us to use classes without having to require the files that implement those classes. And here, Composer, it's just loading this, using this temporary class loader here, just to avoid, I think, or to give an example, I don't know, they could have done this, for example, right? I think this would totally work, if I'm not mistaken. Let's get out of maintenance mode, otherwise it won't reach that part, right? Oh, it's up. Yeah, totally works. But I think they wanted to just, for people like us reading this, I think they just want to give us an example of the functionality, right? And then we have the loader, and the loader, it's a class, it's another class defined under vendor, Composer, autoload. No, it's class loader, I think. Yeah, the namespace has autoload here, but the path doesn't comply with the with the namespace. So the class loader, it's here, right? And this is the actual class that does all the logic, loading, and requiring files, etc. Composer might allow you to register many loaders, so it keeps track of the loading callbacks that you registered. See here, register, you can prepend, so there's all this stuff, but in the end, it's always using this SQL autoload register, right? And in this case, the class doing the actually requiring things, it's the load, not the class, the method, it's load class, right? So if we search by load class, we'll get this load class. If the file it's found by class, so it gets the class and tries to find the file based on all the mapping that it does automatically for you when you do that composer autoload or composer install, and tries to find the file there by the class. If it finds, then it includes, right, the file. And it's using another method, include file, and the method, it's all even defined as a static property. So might be something that has a default value. No, it needs to be, so the client code needs to define that. Yeah, maybe the loader here does that, or even this one does that. Let's just check again. Include file, if self-include file is null, return self-include file, closure, bind, include file. Oh, okay, right. So it's defining here, it's defining a closure. Bind, it's just bind parameters to that, I guess. And why you're binding no parameters? I don't know. But it's just this callback here that accepts the file and includes it. Why this is like this? Maybe it's trying to give a chance for client code to define their own include file methods. But yeah, I think that might be it. Initialize include closure. Prevent access to this self from include files. Oh, okay. So it's not what I thought. It's just to isolate the included files. So the scope, because it's inside a closure scope, it's protected. Right. Okay, we're getting too much details into the composer here, but the idea is that it uses this SQL autoload register, and down below here you can see that it starts to initializing the loader by passing maps to that. So this, for example, it's the autoload static. So if you go to vendor composer autoload static, you will see that we have a lot of files here, and then we have much more below, a complete map of all the packages, all the files by class and where the file is. So this is passed to the loader by calling this function initializer. So it gets the initializer and then calls, because the initializer might be a callback as well, a closure, or an array probably returns that. And then the loader gets fed by those mapping, right? The files mapping, and this is called, there's also a namespacing here. Oh, length, yeah. And then there's the class map. All those things are fed into the loader, then the loader register itself. So we can take a look here. It's quick register, and that's the register we just saw, right? And then the files to load, this is interesting. That's the thing related to the die and DD, etc. Composer, based on your Composer JSON file, allows you to define files that will be automatically required for you. So first it will just create a callback, a closure again to require the file. And I think it creates here just to avoid the same thing, to make the scope closed. So it creates that, and then for each files to load, and the files to load are retrieved from here, from the static class we just saw. Files, see, so the static here, files, oops, it's a long file, my Vim froze a little bit. So those are the files, and you can see here that those files are the ones that define very basic things like bootstrapping, packages, like deprecation functions, and we have this interesting thing from Symfony. It's a var dumper. So if we go and take a look at that, vendor Symfony var dumper resources functions dump, we can see our loved, well, I say our because Laravel developers use this a lot to debug, but it's actually a Symfony package that implements the DD, right? And the DD, it's really a die dump, right? It dies and well, it's dumping and exiting, but it's basically that, right? So that's why after you include this vendor autoload that starts all this process of registering the loader, Composer loader, getting all the maps, feeding into the loader, and then requiring our basic files. That's why after you do require this, you can do DD here instead of die and var dump, right? So it works here, but it doesn't work here, because here you still see it's an error, and the error it's just here. We don't have an expected define in index line 6. I don't think this is from now, right? No, that's not from now. Okay, that's now. Okay, undefined function DD, right? So yeah, that's that. That's how the Composer works. And I think we don't have time for starting this today. I really have to go, but we advanced a lot in here. It seems so little, but it's nice to understand all the underlying things. And again, this Composer thing, it's not only for Laravel, it's any project that uses Composer has all those things. But next time we will definitely start by looking at how the Laravel, it's bootstrapping itself, and bootstrapping it's just to really create the minimum viable objects to start processing things. So in this case, it's the application. We will take a look at how that's bootstrapped, how the configuration is done, and how the first request is handled. Well, I'm promising too much, but of course, handle requests, it's another step. We will take a look at the application bootstrapping, and then we can see if we get here. But yeah, I hope you like it, and I'm having fun, a lot of fun. I'm enjoying doing this, so I'll keep doing, and I hope you guys are also enjoying and learning things. Okay, bye bye.